Well, just about 4 years ago, I was longboarding on a trail that I've done plenty of times, 50 plus, and at the very end, where you get off your boards, pack up to go back to the trucks, you're coming down a hill. I was coming down at a speed that was too fast to jump off the board, so I end up in the middle of the road and hit the side of a truck. He was going 45, I was doing probably 25 to 30, and because of the wheels on the board, it was like a banana effect. Slipped right under, and the back tires ran over and crushed both of my femurs. My left femur was broke into 3 pieces. My right femur was broke into 6. I split my pelvis. I had to have a plate with screws on my pelvis connecting it back together. My legs, they still have the rods and screws in them. I had brain and kidney trauma, and this coming spring, I will have had 7 different surgeries. The rod that was in my right femur was placed wrong. The x-ray was showing it wasn't going to heal right the way that the first surgeon had performed the surgery. So the first rod was taken out, and a new rod was put in, and when the second rod was put in, my leg was twisted a little different when he screwed the rod in. So again, I go back in for another surgery to have that replaced. So 4 surgeries on my legs and a surgery on my pelvis for the 3 weeks that I was in the hospital. But during all this, obviously, there's a lot of pain. It's been a long ride, and with medication especially. But over time, your body and your mind, they tell you that the drug isn't working anymore. So either change the drug or up the dosage. So right after 3 weeks is done, I'm sent home with the oxycodone and the Percocet. When that runs out, my first surgeon, he went right in and prescribed OxyContin and a quick release, which was the Percocet again. But over time, the dose milligram, it didn't change per se, but how often I would take them did. Just this last year, a year and a half, I knew it was the problem. I would take medication whenever I felt like it, was not on a schedule. I found myself running out and then having to go through a withdrawal for however long it took to get a new prescription. I realized it was about a year and a half ago, and I wanted to stop. I had a goal to run a mile in a certain amount of time. I don't remember the time, but I knew I wasn't going to be able to do that on this drug because physical activity is just not, with as much as I was taking, basically not an option. So have you heard the saying, you have to hit rock bottom before you decide to get back up, or that you actually do get back up? I hit rock bottom and I wanted out. I'm a very independent person. I hate asking for help, and I still think I'm tough. I thought I could do it on my own. Everybody said, no, you can't do that on your own. I wanted to prove him wrong. So for 2 weeks, I detoxed myself. I did ask my mother for help, and she helped tremendously, but these withdrawal symptoms are something that I wish upon no one. You feel like you're literally dying. You can't, your entire body aches, you can't breathe, you're not hungry, you're sweating and hot and cold all at the same time. Your brain does circles, very quick circles, and you feel like you're in this world that is all your own and goes nowhere. And all you can think about is, I gotta have that drug. I need that to get rid of this. That's where the help comes in. Withdrawal symptoms get so bad that a person cannot do them, they cannot go through it on their own without help. Especially at the level after 4 years of increasing dosage and whatnot. But 2 weeks I tried it on my own, and it was literally hell. I can count on one hand how many times I've actually cried in my life, and that was definitely one of them. It was trying to do that on my own. The other doctors, they didn't offer a whole lot to cure it, even though they knew I wanted off of the medications. They honestly would take a look at my papers, and a stack this big of papers with the condition that I was in, they would just prescribe medication. There was no cure to them. A doctor suggested an injection, a steroid injection into my leg. We tried it, had no effect, and stopped right there. And I was done with him immediately. It got to the point where I knew, as stubborn as that was, I knew it wasn't going to happen. And so I went to my doctor, Dr. Wilcox, and had our probably third or fourth discussion on the subject, or our first real discussion. And this is when he described exactly the process that he does and what I would go through, and he claimed withdrawal free. I didn't believe him. To go for 2 weeks trying to detox on my own and not being able to do it, how can this one doctor detox somebody without withdrawal symptoms? Very few, if any. So I was hesitant, but at this point I was willing to try anything. This is the first time something has been offered to me to be 3 to 7 days and have a full detox, and then you're done. It was so unheard of. I didn't believe it. I looked into courses, rehab courses that were anywhere from 28 plus days, where they would give you Suboxone to cover the withdrawal symptoms, but that's it. And basically you're in there for so long for the drug to get out of your system. What Dr. Wilcox was able to do to me in the amount of time that he did it was a miracle. I was taking medication on Wednesday. Thursday I went in for my first treatment and was done. was literally a miracle. It's a special bond that it gave me with Doctor because of what he was able to do. Any type of symptom that I would feel was more of an anxiety. I did not go through the pain, and I didn't cry like the weeks previous. It was the best part of my day, walking into his office and being able to participate in another treatment of what he has to offer. And I looked forward to it. All 6 days that I was in the course, I loved it because of his passion to help people. I feel, I would say 100% better. My brain is clear. There's pain, obviously. But it's something that I will never get to that state again. I wish people could experience it for maybe 5 seconds to really understand what it is, what a withdrawal is. It's like you're completely helpless. Starting early to mid-spring of next year, 2013, I will start my surgeries again. I am going to have the rods taken out of my femurs, and the process to do that will cause more pain than the initial accident. They'll have to chip away so much bone and actually re-break a lot of pieces and dig through the muscle again, the scar tissue again. It's going to cause a lot more pain. Not something that I'll be able to bear without medication. Dr. Wilcox, and I've already talked to him about this, he's going to be there right when I'm ready and when I can stand up. I will be in Dr. Wilcox's office. For the rest of my life, I will have to have surgeries, and anytime there is a need for a narcotic pain medicine, as soon as I am able, Dr. Wilcox will be on the phone with me. It's not an option. To see my mom in the room with the same feelings for this doctor, because she's looking at her son that, you know, the day before was still on medication and knew that if I was just to go off, I'd break down and I wouldn't be able to move. She saw me walking and not taking any medication, and she knew that because she was in control of it all when she was helping me. To see her, she has a bond with you that's pretty special, and she's not even your patient.
Yeah. A special woman.
She is. She's a great woman, but to see her face for what you were able to do for someone that she cared about, that was worth everything.